So, hello everybody. Welcome to today's webinar from 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲, where we will explore virtual screening in commercial libraries with AI. First, we'll introduce ourselves. So, we are 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲, an AI company focused on drug discovery and medicinal chemistry with the AI techniques, machine learning and deep learning techniques. And for today's webinar, we will show you how our products can be used to achieve nice performance with reasonable speed of in commercial libraries like Zinc and Enamine and other popular libraries using our techniques. So for this presentation, we will start with introducing a bit of virtual screening and the current challenges that we have there. Uh, then we will talk about ligand-based virtual screening and structure-based virtual screening. These are two main types of virtual screening. Then we will introduce our cheese docking pipeline, the motivation behind and why it's so interesting. We will describe how the pipeline works, where we integrate our cheese search API with the docking API with the docking tool like AutoDock Vina. Then we will show some results from some internal tests that we did on several targets. Then we will show how the pipeline works in practice by performing an API call and showing some results. Then we will finish by highlighting what's important in this pipeline and possibly some next steps. Virtual screening is one crucial step in any virtual screening in any drug discovery pipeline. So it's a computational technique used to screen out large libraries of compounds against a target. So we will screen all compounds that bind to a specific target with high affinity. So this technique, it's an in silico technique. So an alternative to it is high throughput screening, which is more accurate in principle and uses experimental procedures. But due to the costs of the experimental equipment and laboratory procedures, in silico methods are more preferred because they are cost effective and they can accelerate drug discovery much more just using computers. So the challenge of screening large virtual libraries. So even if virtual screening is a computational technique, so it's usually quite hard to screen very large compounds like billion scale compounds or even more, billion scale libraries or even more against a single target due to the computational cost of the traditional virtual screening techniques. So the more the bigger the databases, the harder the virtual screening becomes, and for that, better and faster methods are always needed. We'll talk about the ligand-based virtual screening. Ligand-based virtual screening uses only ligands. So usually we have a target, and we know some ligands that bind to it with high affinity. So the goal of LBVS is to use those ligands and use similarity search, mostly similarity search, to identify similar structures in large virtual libraries that can potentially bind to a target. So it follows from the similarity principle that similar structures or similar behaving molecules should have similar behavior or also should the target. So for that, we have too many methods, and they are based on descriptors of the molecules. So we have 1D descriptors like molecular weight, hydrogen bond donors and acceptors, log P, rotatable bonds, and etc. We have also 2D descriptor methods, which involve structural and topological fingerprints like Morgan fingerprints and similar methods. And we also have 3D descriptors, which perform similarity search on a 3D level, like shape, electrostatic potential, and pharmacophoric mapping. So the good thing about ligand-based virtual screening is that they are extremely useful when the experimental data is available about activity against a target. So even if sometimes you don't know the structure of the target, you can still use these methods. But however, they usually have poor performance in virtual screening benchmarks, and the diversity of the compounds that are found using these methods is actually limited by the number of experimental data that we have. And we also have this problem of activity cliffs, where very similar compounds have extremely different behavior with respect to a target. Here we introduce our cheese search, or our cheese pipeline, which is actually a set of tools that are built upon machine learning embeddings that learn from multiple metrics in the ligand-based virtual screening to achieve the best speed accuracy trade-off. So our cheese package performs well across several ligand-based virtual screening benchmarks and achieve the best trade-off between speed and accuracy, so you can search compounds fast while maintaining a reasonable level of accuracy. Uh, so then we will move to structure-based virtual screening, which is another method of virtual screening, uh, also known as target-based virtual screening. So here the structure of the target is known, and little to no experimental data is known about which compounds bind to this target. So usually what we do is we use molecular docking, which is a set of techniques that optimize a ligand structure to compute the optimal pose in a binding cavity. So these methods have the advantage of making use of the target structure as much as possible. Uh, Also, there are lots of physics-based methods that accurately predict binding poses, which give more or less good results, and also are explainable in terms of their like of, of their assignment of the binding poses. However, these methods are usually computationally costly due to their physics level modeling, because they used expensive modeling of the interactions between proteins and ligand. They are computationally costly, especially the very accurate methods, and therefore they can be very hard to integrate into virtual screening of very large libraries. One more problem with those methods is that they are quite difficult. It's usually quite difficult to accurately model the protein ligand interactions, because these interactions are usually poorly understood. Here we introduce our cheese docking pipeline, which is actually bridging the gap between ligand-based virtual screening and structure-based virtual screening. So we use our cheese search product or API integrated with AutoDock Vina docking tool to perform some exploration in large chemical libraries to look for highly docking high docking score uh, compounds inside large libraries. So it combines the best of both worlds, and it works actually by starting with random exploration, and then converges to regions of the chemical space which dock well to the target in question. Here we use the Autodock Vina, which is a standard tool for molecular docking, as everybody might know. It's a physics-based approach that consistently demonstrates good performance in popular docking benchmarks. So here you have some data from the Postbusters benchmark, which show the superiority of Vina over other machine learning based approaches. So it still stands the test of time. So even after many years, AutoDock Vina still performs well uh, in molecular docking in general. So that's why we have choose it as our docking tool in choose docking pipeline. We've also implemented the docking, the Vena docking tool with GPU acceleration. So we've taken advantage of the latest development in uh, in in, uh, in Vena GPU acceleration. So we've made an API for GSDocken with GPU, and which can achieve 200 times acceleration on a standard GPU, which is the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080, against a single CPU core. So if you compare AutoDock Vina on a single CPU core, you achieve this level of acceleration on this standard GPU. So in terms of how many compounds we are able to dock 100 compounds per minute, which is actually great for visual screening. And it has been demonstrated that these implementations, these accelerated implementations, have comparable accuracy to the original Vina implementation. So we will soon walk through our API and we will demonstrate it. And it will be also available in our cheese package. So the pipeline of cheese-docken works as the following. So first you start with an initial pool of molecules. So these molecules are the centroid molecules. So by centroid molecules, it means that our chemical spaces in cheese are clustered, and we define centroid molecules, which are molecules that are in the center of the clusters. And we start with those because we want to ensure as much diversity as possible of the exploration process. So we start with those molecules and we dock them using AutoDock Vina. We select the best molecules and we add some random molecules to encourage the exploration. Then we feed those molecules to cheese search to look for similar molecules through all of the metrics. So we have electrostatic shape and 3D shape and also structural Morgan fingerprints. And we collect all of the results, we redock them again, and we select the best molecules. So that's how the whole process works. And, and then the best molecules are defined according to a fitness function that we define. So the fitness function takes into account the Vina score. So we want to maximize the Vina score. So the Vina score is actually the predicted binding affinity, which is usually negative. So we'll want to minimize the negative value and maximize the absolute value. And we add also other constraints like by descriptors. We force the molecules to be within a certain range of descriptors and also to have a certain molecular weight. We can also include admit properties and so on. So we repeat this whole process until satisfied, until we are run out of time or we achieve the required docking scores, and then the final molecules are further evaluated. So to test this methodology, this integration between cheese search and docking, we defined a task. So given a target structure, we are aiming to look for high scoring molecules according to Vina in the Zinc 15 database. So the Zinc 15 is one of the databases that are indexed in our cheese tool, which contain about 700 million molecules. And we will compare two strategies. So one strategy is the cheese token that I explained previously, and random strategy, which is actually docking the same number of compounds, but by randomly sampling from the cheese from the Zinc database. So the goal here is to evaluate how much cheese is better than just random exploration, and uh, we define the limit to be around 10 molecules that needs to be docked. So this 10K molecules which needs to be docked, which is performed around one and a half hours on GPU. So uh, the, the the whole system methodology or the whole system procedure forces each of the strategies to dock the same number of compounds. So we would like to know how much each method can achieve in terms of docking scores uh, uh, by docking the same number of compounds. So we will compare the best 100 molecules from 4 trials of the same experiment. So we have 5 targets, and we repeat the experiment 4 times for each target, and we will show the distributions of Vina scores and the distributions of molecular weight as well. Here I would like to point to one important thing. So there is actually a molecular weight bias in the Vina scoring, which is actually well known. AutoDock Vina is built upon a linear formula which takes into account the interactions between the ligand and the target, and it's actually biased toward large molecules. So the more molecules you have, the larger the Dawkins scores should get, and it's actually because of this linear formulation. So here we define the fitness function in this Docker pipeline to define a threshold over the molecular weight. So if the molecular weight is less than 100, we return the Vina score. Otherwise, we return a big positive number. So this number is uh, is taken from the distribution of molecular weight from zinc 15. So we've drawn the distribution of molecular weight from zinc 15, and we defined a threshold where most of the compounds lie. And this strategy actually will force cheese to not select high molecular weight compounds for the exploration process. So here we will show some results. So we will start with the AMPC beta-lactamase target, which has the PDB ID of 1L2S. So here you can see that cheese docking has better Vina score. So the lowest the Vina score in terms of the value, the better. So you can see that cheese docking has better distribution of score of Vina scores against the random strategy. These are the best 100 Vina scores collected over 4 trials of the experiment. So you can see how cheese has better advantage, and you can also see how much the molecular weight is distributed for this 100 molecules. So you can see that it has more or less similar distribution to the random, although that there is a high density here, but we can see that the cheese docking is not high in molecular weight, which is not actually the reason why cheese is performing better. So we can see that here are some molecules. These are 5 molecules sampled randomly from those 100 best molecules. So you can see that these are the types of molecules that cheese selects for over the exploration process. And you can see that overall the docking scores are much better than the random scores. Here we visualize some docking poses. So this is a molecule. Left is a molecule docked by cheese, and here in the right it's a molecule docked by the random. So you can see how the docking poses are compared to each other. So we've repeated the experiment over other targets as well. So this is the EGFR receptor, uh, which has PDB-ID form XKK. So you can still see that cheese is outperforming the random strategy. So here the molecular weight is also similarly distributed. These are best molecule for this target. So you can see the cheese is performing on average better than the random molecules. And here are the docking poses as well for this target. You can also see another target, which is human histamine H1 receptor. Uh, Here, same claims are holding. Here we have the M. tuberculosis thymidylate kinase with this PDB ID. So you can see the cheese is also performing well. Although the molecular weight here is much less than what's in the random molecules. You can see here the best molecules and also the docking pose of one of the selected molecules from both cheese and random. We have another target here, which is the human dopamine D4 dopamine receptor. Uh, you can see that cheese is outperforming largely the random docking, the random strategy, and also with molecular weight similarly distributed. So here you can see the best molecules and also the docking poses for this target. So now I will introduce the cheese docking API. So the cheese docking API will be soon available in cheese on premise, and it actually have two API calls. One is Vina GPU, which is actually docking a set of ligands against a target, which can be uploaded, which you can upload your PDB structure to. And we have the cheese docking exploration process. So, and then we will release very soon the KNIME nodes for this whole exploration process, where you can supply your PDB target, or your target in PDB format, together with the API parameters for the exploration process, and it will just perform a post request and parse the results of the best molecules. So now I will show a live demo of the exploration process by just performing a simple API call to it. So now we have this cheese token API. So currently it's available just internally, so we will release it soon. And here are the parameters that are needed for the exploration. So we will go to cheese token exploration. For the parameters, we have the initial seed of molecules. These are the centroid molecules that I talked about. And the best N is the best molecules that need to be selected after the exploration, after the docking. The number of neighbors is how many neighbors does cheese searches from the best molecules. The best final is the number of molecules that you would like to get after the end of the exploration. These are the molecules that will be returned. And the number of iterations is how many iterations needs to be performed. Mean molecular weight, so this is the minimum molecular weight and maximum molecular weight for like to define a specific range of molecular weight that you would like to constrain cheese on. And then we have the database name, which we will be using zinc 15 for. Here you have your protein, and for the protein you can just upload a PDB file. So I uploaded this PDB file, and you can just execute. So for these parameters, the number of docked compounds is about 300 to 400 compounds. and it's expected to take about 3 minutes. So I have run this before. So the response is something like this. So you have a message which will tell you in how much time the token was performed, together with the best molecules docked. And these are the molecules that are selected by the cheese docking process, together with their Vina scores. And these are the scores on which the ranking was performed. Uh, so let's wait for the result. So, in case you are interested in our cheese docking pipeline, you can just contact us at info@deepmedchem.com, and we can provide you with access to test the service for yourself. I see a question from Fabio. Uh, like the question is, can you give more info on the cheese search step of the cheese docking pipeline? What is the objective function used for the exploration selection of molecules? Okay, so this is an interesting question. Uh, the the cheese search is it's actually like if we can go back to I will go back to the presentation. So maybe I'll go to this pipeline. Uh, so uh, so the cheese search actually takes all of the best molecules that are docked from the previous iteration, and it feeds it to our search pipeline, which searches by all of the metrics. So it takes, for example, if you select the n best to be 10, it will take the 10 best docked molecules, and the objective function here, it's just the Vina score. If the molecular weight is under 400 for this testing that we've performed, and then uh, like these docking scores are used to rank the molecules. So the best molecules, best 10, are fed to the cheese search. So cheese searches these molecules in the Zinc 15 databases using a number of neighbors. For this demo that I'm doing, it's 10 number of 10 neighbors, and it searches that using 3 metrics, which is first metric is Morgan fingerprints. They are all of these metrics are our models for this for this similarity metrics, and it collects the neighbors from each of the metrics. We have three. We have Morgan, and we have 3D shape and the electrostatic models, and all of the molecules then are fed to the docking tool again, together with some random molecules, because we want to encourage exploration and to not be stuck into local optima. So all of these molecules are redoxed again, and the process is repeated over and over again for a number of iterations. Uh, I can also see another question. What does random strategy exactly mean in this context? From Mahdis. The random strategy actually means that we are docking the same number of compounds. So if you select some parameters for the docking pipeline, you end up with a certain number of molecules to be docked. For this experiment, it's 10K molecules. So you just sample 10K molecules from the whole Zinc 15 database, and you dock them using AutoDock Vina, and you select the base 100. So it's just random docking over the cheese over the Zinc 15 database. So the goal here is to see with the same number of docked molecules how better we can perform if we add cheese into the pipeline. Yeah, thank you for the questions. I see also another question. What are the libraries available via the API? So via the API, we have three libraries currently available. We have cheese. We have Zinc 15. We have Enamine Real, and we have MQL database. So I will go back uh, to the demo. And you can see here that it's performed in 220 seconds, and these are the best molecules found for this target. So I selected best final 10. So here it's docked around about 300 to 400 molecules, and the best 10 are displayed here. So in the private access to the API, we can also provide you with the docking poses for each of these compounds on the basis of which these scores were calculated. Okay, so let's continue. As I told before, like if you have early access, you can just contact us, and we can give you access to this docking cheese docking pipeline. So to conclude, cheese docking here it's like our integration of our currently available publicly available cheese search uh, API or tool with the popular docking tool. And its main goal is to bridge ligand-based virtual screening and structural-based virtual screening. So here it's a version of target-aware search. So the thing is that you only need information about your target, and you can actually start exploring large commercial databases like Zinc and Enamine and similar databases. Which is actually powered by this docking tool. So the whole logic of the pipeline is to direct the search in large chemical databases based on the similarity principle. So you start with the random exploration on the level of the centroids to increase diversity, and then you converge more to local clusters of molecule of high scoring molecules, and these high scoring molecules hold the like you find high scoring molecules, and you go to local neighborhoods to find even high scoring molecules or similar scoring molecules. So that's the whole principle of cheese docking. So it's a tool which is complementary to active learning. So there has been some approaches which are doing similar thing, but by using machine learning framework. So other active learning approaches are using actually machine learning model, which is actively learning which molecules to dock in order to maximize the information about the distribution of docking scores. It's like the active learning is more or less trying to accurately model an expensive docking function like AutoDock Vina, for example, in order to guide the search in large database. So this approach is similar, but it's complementary because it uses similarity search instead. So as I told before, cheese docking is available in cheese on-premises version, and you can contact us for that. So here I will talk about one case study that we did before. because we've brought the discussion about the active learning strategy. So in the past, we've performed a similar strategy to screen out a subset of the enamine database for Bridging Biosciences company, and we have achieved uh, like about 150 improved virtual enrichment. So what we've did basically is that we've screened out the enamine database and we selected some molecules to dock in order to learn which parts of this space have high docking scores. So we've used this machine learning model to predict the docking scores for the whole enamine database. Then we've selected the best docking molecules, which achieves a speed up of 25 hours versus 200 days if we would like to dock this whole number of compounds. So, this is somewhat related to what we do now, and we have this machine learning model machine learning modeling strategies through our publicly available cheese modeler tool. So you can try our products for free. So we have four main products. We have this cheese search, and we have a cheese modeler, which do basically through which you can build your own machine learning models on your private data, and you can also find lots of models that perform ultra fast admit predictions. So the good thing is that using modeler you can train custom machine learning models fast and also with very easy to use UI. We have also the Explorer. So the Explorer is a tool for visualization of commercially available chemical spaces. So it supports multiple metrics, 3D shape, electrostatics, and also activity similarity. And it contains popular databases like Campbell, like Explore, Cambria, Zinc, and NME. And we lastly have electrostatics, which is a tool which which actually predicts electrostatic potential with DFT quality trained data. So the predictions are related to the DFT, the expensive DFT charge models, and it was validated on out of distribution split, where we filtered less than 30% more gun time of a similarity to the training set. So it achieved nice correlation, and it only takes 3 seconds per molecule rather than taking 3 hours with DFT. So please feel free to explore it and give us our feedback. Yeah, I will check if there are any more questions. I see a question from Fabio. The question is, in the pipeline, a positive score is assigned to compound with the molecular weight more than 500 Daltons. Does that mean that large molecules are not selected in the final output? Yes, it's exactly right. Uh, I will share my screen again. So I was talking about a bias that we discovered in the Vina scoring. So this bias it's actually discovered by many people in the field, and it's actually uh, uh, it's actually the thing that the Vina scores are biased toward higher molecular weight. So if you allow the convergence toward large molecules, it will actually bias the distribution against the random distribution. So we've tried that, and we've discovered the that the cheese compounds are converging to very to a region with high molecular weight if you don't allow this constraint, and actually that can bias the experiment. So that's why we've applied this threshold in order to have comparable molecular weight range to what we have in the random distribution. So you can see here that these are the best random molecules in terms of molecular weight for this target, and you can see that what does the cheese token finds lies in this similar range than where most of the molecules are lying. So potentially you can also allow the selection of high scoring molecules, but you should control that for molecular weight as well. So if you want to compare with random, you should select the same range of molecular weight. Yeah, there is another question from Stanislaw. I hope that the name is correct. The question is, do you think that your pipeline could be used for another kind of databases like peptides, aptamers, natural compounds, etc.? The answer is yes. So this pipeline is agnostic to any kind of database because it uses the similarity principle to combine with docking, and so you can use it on any database provided that the database is indexed via cheese. So if you have some interesting databases that you would like to explore this strategy on, you can just contact us and provide us with the database. We will index it and make the pipeline ready for it. Thank you for the question. There is another question from Mikola. The question is, can you use different docking tools that we have that we have in-house? And the answer is yes. The pipeline again, it's not specific to AutoDock Vina as a docking tool, so you can use any of your docking tools, provided that it can generate docking scores fast enough to allow um, uh, significant exploration of the chemical space in reasonable time. Otherwise, like the pipeline can take too much time if the docking score is extremely slow. But I believe that most docking tools have similar speeds to Vina. So any docking tool is actually welcome. Next for the question. Yeah, I see one question from Sylvain that I missed. The question is that how can we have a try of your products? Actually, if you want to try our products, we have the freely available products here. And we have the links to Explorer, cheesedeepmedchem.com. So if you go just to deepmedchem.com, you will find the list of all of our products with the links. And if you want access to this specific pipeline that we've designed, you can just contact us at info@deepmedchem.com. Okay, so I think there are no more questions. So I would like to thank you everybody for participating today. Thank you for your attention, and looking forward to see you in the next webinar. Have a good day.